Hello and welcome back to this channel. So the visa bulletin that should be released in this month of November 2024 showing the cutoff numbers to apply in the DV 2025 program that is during the month of January 2025 has been released, and that is what we saw in the last video. And in that last video, I said that in this video, we will take a closer look at that visa bulletin, analyzing its content. So that is what we are going to do in today's video. Now, in that video, I noted that just by looking at the cutoff numbers to apply during the month of January 2025 as part of the DV 2025 program, you can clearly see, if you have been following, that all of those cutoff numbers received an increase, and most of them even received leaps being high increases. So for the month of January, what has happened is that all of the cutoff numbers have been increased, and most of them to a high extent. So we begin by saying why those increases or why those leaps in most of the regions. And the reason for that are the 2 points that are made in a video for those of you who have been following, in which I said that it is from this visa bulletin that we can expect to see increases in the cutoff numbers of the different regions and exception countries. The first point that I made in that video was the fact that so many cases had been made current for interview or eligible for interview from the very beginning of this program year. And that happened because the initial cutoff numbers, established for the month of October 2024 were set too high. So those many cases that had been made eligible for interview had to be dealt with before the cutoff numbers could move on. And that is why we saw a repeat of the cutoff numbers. The cutoff numbers that were established for October were repeated for the month of November, and for the most part, repeated for the month of December. Now, moving over to the month of January, those many cases that were made current for interview for those 3 months will be dealt with by the end of December. So January is the most reasonable time to make new cases eligible for interview. And that is the first reason why all of the regions and exception countries have experienced increases in their different cutoff numbers. The second point I made in that video was that traditionally during the first 3 months of the diversity visa program year, the embassies and consulates interview very low numbers of diversity visa cases. It is from the month of January that the embassies and consulates begin to interview diversity visa cases in their numbers. The second reason why this is the appropriate time for the visa office to increase the cutoff numbers of the various regions and exception countries. So are the increases in the cutoff numbers of your different regions and exception countries justified? And the answer is yes, they are justified based on the 2 reasons or the 2 points that I just shared with you. Now, when it comes to the North America region, there is a particular comment to make. The North America region is the smallest region, and so usually we do not see the kind of leap that it just experienced, that is, an increase from 5 to 20 in its cutoff number. That is actually unusual. And looking at it, at first view, you will think that it is an error and it could be an error. However, there are two other possibilities that could be playing out here. The first of those possibilities is that between 5 and 20, there are not many case numbers. So it is possible that the embassy in the Bahamas has reported that they are in the position to interview all of those cases during the month of January. They may intend or have the intention of interviewing or dealing with all diversity visa cases soon in the fiscal year and bring them to an end. That is possible. Some embassies have proceeded in that way in the past. And the second possibility is connected to the overall case number range of the North America region. The North America region has always had the least extensive overall case number range. It means that the highest case number from the North America region has always been low. And that is because the North America region is the smallest region. It has the lowest number of selectees, only a handful of selectees on a yearly basis. And what is behind that is the fact that that region comprises only one country, the Bahamas. Now, for the DV 2025 program, because the first SAAC data have so far not been published, we do not know how extensive the overall case number range is for the North America region. Could it be that the North America region overall case number range has been increased? That is not likely, but just in case that is the case, then it means that the leap that the North America region has just experienced is very reasonable. The cutoff numbers will have to be increased at a higher rate in order for them to reach the highest case numbers by the end of the program year. So, apart from these few comments concerning the North America region, we have already said it, the increases and leaps that you have observed or experienced in the cutoff numbers of your various regions and exception countries are justified for the month of January 2025. Now, what will be the consequences of these increases and leaps? The first thing is that they have made so many cases current for interview. It is true that the embassies are going to begin to interview many diversity visa cases during the month of January, but all of those cases will not be attended to during that month. Interviews for some of those cases will certainly go beyond the month of January. And in case the number of cases that are not addressed during the month of January are many, it means that there will be repeat of the cutoff numbers in most, if not all, of the different regions and exception countries. In other words, you may observe some increases, but in that case, there will be more likely low increases. I personally do not expect to see leaps in the next visa bulletin, and I do not expect increases in most of the regions and exception countries. Those are my thoughts that I had to share with you concerning the recently released visa bulletin, as I do whenever the bulletin is published. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching it. See you very soon, God willing, in the next one. Goodbye.